I'm Misty Dickerson, and in this video, I'm going to reflect on two teacher leader standards. Standard 3, which focuses on curriculum, and then Standard 4, which focuses on coaching and mentoring. As I've worked through this program and really thought about my own classroom and school experiences, I realized that stepping into a teacher leadership role is something that I'm really excited about doing, but it's also something that comes with real challenges. It's not just about being a strong teacher anymore. It's more about helping other teachers grow and help them to become strong teachers. So making sure that instruction is consistent and sometimes having conversations that aren't necessarily always easy. So in this video, I'm going to walk through one challenge that I see for each standard and explain how I would handle it. And then I'm going to connect each one to a principle from Knowles' adult learning theory. So first challenge is starting with standard 3. And one challenge I honestly see coming, and I've already seen pieces of it, is making sure that all teachers are really using data to drive instruction in a meaningful way. At my school, we use assessments like DIBELS and iReady all the time, especially in first grade. And the data itself isn't necessarily the problem. We have it. The challenge is what happens after we get the data. Now, I've noticed that some teachers are really confident with it. They can look at their data, group their students, and adjust instruction pretty quickly. But then there are other teachers who feel completely overwhelmed by it. They might look at the numbers and think, okay, I know this is important, but I'm not exactly sure what to do next. And I get it. I've been there because data can feel like a lot if you don't have a clear system. Because of that, instruction can end up looking different across classrooms. Some students are getting really targeted support, and others might not be getting exactly what they need yet. So as a teacher leader, I see that as a real challenge, making sure that we're all using data in a way that actually supports student growth and keeps things consistent across grade level. So to help with that, I would set up structured data meetings that are simple, consistent, and actually doable for the teachers. I would use a process like the describe, interpret, and decide. First, we would just describe what we see in the data. No pressure, no overthinking it, just what do you notice? We notice patterns, who's below benchmark, what skills are the students struggling with. Then we can move on into interpreting the data. Now, where we talk about what it actually means. Are students struggling with phonemic awareness? Are we seeing gaps in decoding or comprehension? And then finally, we would decide what to do next. That could be something small, some type of small group instruction, targeted interventions, or even adjusting whole group lessons as needed. The goal is to make the data feel less overwhelming and more manageable for the teachers. And honestly, I think the biggest part of this is just giving teachers a clear structure. When people don't know what to do step by step, it builds confidence. When they know what to do step by step, it actually helps build their confidence over time. And it also creates a space where teachers can talk things through together instead of feeling like they have to figure it all out on their own and they're doing this, they're lost by themselves. So this strategy connects really well to Knowles' principle that adults need learning to be relevant and immediately useful. Teachers are really busy, and if something doesn't feel helpful in their day-to-day teaching, it's probably not going to stick. But when we're using their actual student data, it's different. It matters. It's meaningful for them. It's not hypothetical. It's real data. So because it's directly connected to their classroom, teachers are much more likely to engage in the process and actually apply what they're learning. And that's what makes it effective. So now shifting to standard 4, one challenge that I know I'm going to face is having difficult conversations with other adults. It's a given. It's going to happen. And honestly, that's something I think a lot of people struggle with. As teachers, we have to put a lot into what we do. And so when someone gives feedback, even if it's meant to help, it can feel personal and feel like we're personally being attacked. There may be times where I notice a strategy isn't working or student data isn't improving the way that it should, and I'll need to step in and support that teacher. And I want to do that in a way that helps them and doesn't hurt them. I don't want my teachers to feel judged or defensive. I want them to feel like they're supported and respected. So finding that balance between being honest and being encouraging, that's definitely a challenge I see myself working through. So instead of just telling someone what they need to change, I would take a strengths-based coaching approach. And I would always start with what they're doing well, because there's always something positive that you can point out. And that helps build trust right from the beginning. Then, instead of jumping straight into corrections, I would ask reflective questions. Let them think about it on their own for a little bit. Things like, what are you noticing from your students during this part of the lesson? Or how do you feel like that strategy is working? What might be another way to approach this? This turns the conversation into more of a partnership where we're working through it together instead of just me telling them what to do. It actually gives teachers space to think and reflect on what they have done and come to their own conclusions. And when people come to their own conclusions, they're usually more willing to make the changes that may be necessary. So having them come to this on their own would be more beneficial for them than me just telling them outright. Now, this connects to Noel's idea that adults want to feel respected and capable. So adults don't want to feel like they're being talked down to or being corrected. None of us like to be corrected. Makes us feel about this small, and we don't enjoy it. Adults want to be seen as professionals. And so by using reflective questioning and focusing on their strengths, I'm showing respect for their experience, and I'm also giving them ownership over their growth. And when this happens, they're going to be much more open to the feedback and improvement that comes along with it. So, looking at both standards 3 and 4, I can really see how being a teacher leader is about more than just instruction. It's about the people. It's about supporting teachers and building confidence and creating systems that actually help everyone be successful. The challenges that I talked about, using data effectively and having difficult conversations, are both very real. And I know that I'm going to face these situations, but I also feel more prepared now because I have clear strategies that I can use, and I understand how to approach these situations in a way that supports the adult learners. This reflection really helped me to see that leadership isn't all about having the right answers. It's about being intentional and being supportive and being willing to grow alongside the people that you're actually working with. Thank you.